comes down to this.
Welcome to the horror show. To realize there is nowhere to run. No game to try. There are lies running your life. Welcome to the horror show. To realize there is nowhere to run. No game to try. Obsessions rule your mind.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda. I made that poster. Shit. Before I dissect this lovely film, I just want to ponder on the thought of why the anacondas were in the opening scene and then disappeared for 45 minutes. This confuses the hell out of me because snakes are easier to construct CGI-wise than crocodiles, so they would have saved time and money, and also when the snakes do appear again, they just hiss. They don't make that sound from the original flick, you know that... Yeah, that's not in this flick. The budget for this film is considerably and noticeably larger than the rest of the Lake Placid and Anaconda sci-fi sequels. They even had a scene in an office that looked more like an office and a scene with a mobile lab that looked more like a mobile lab than most of these particular sets in other Sci-Fi Channel films are presented. I've read somewhere that Lake Placid, the final chapter, cost $9 million to make, which is I call BS because it cost more like $3 million. This film probably cost around $4 million. If I were to guess. The plot follows, well, several characters. There's Jim Bickerman, whom I don't care if he has an eye patch, hooked hand, and metal leg. He was shaken until his body was nothing but a flapping piece of meat. There's no way he could have survived. Anyways, he's back as more of a drunken old fool, which pisses me off because his character in the last installment was badass. Speaking of who's back, Reba, played by Yancy Butler, has returned. She's actually my favorite character and steals the show over Robert Englund. Robert Englund did act superbly, but his character was one that I choose to dislike. You also have a sci-fi regular, Cora Nemec, playing the Fish and Wildlife Ranger. I swear, when I first saw his name appear, I thought it was Colin Ferguson, who played in Lake Placid 3. My jaw dropped and then recoiled when I realized I made a mistake. Then you have a dopey deputy, a truckload of sorority girls, and a team of hunters. Now, the leader of the company that worked on the Blood Orchid from the Anaconda series is very talented, but she can play a mean SOB, but then come off completely daft in the very next scene, especially when they find what they're looking for. But what are they looking for, you may be asking? Well, let's just say 3 anacondas escaped from a mobile laboratory, and the fence from Lake Placid Forest breaks down, releasing other crocodiles and anacondas into the open area outside the fence. I was half expecting the crocs and anacondas to invade the town, but that didn't happen. Still, this film is gory and fun. Whenever the snake constricts something, being either human, crocodile, or even vehicle, the gory effects of what it is doing are awesome, usually ending in a grubby explosion. The gore is incredible, I must say. The snakes definitely take the cake for the most awesome deaths. I guess they've earned their keep after appearing 45 minutes into the film after the opening scene. The CGI is actually pretty decent. The crocs look cool, and the anacondas look like the snakes from the first Anaconda movie somewhat. The music from the Lake Placid series is in this, and it is a welcome return. This is a fun film. It gets right into the action and doesn't let up until the end. But because of that, we don't get tons of character development. However, what we get is satisfying. Some scenes and sound effects were a bit silly, as well as some very overacted sorority girls being, well, over-exaggerated. But I still recommend you check this film out, especially if you like Anaconda and Lake Placid, but this is more of a Lake Placid movie than an Anaconda movie. Overall, I give Lake Placid versus Anaconda a 4 out of 5. This is the best Lake Placid and Anaconda sci-fi sequel to date. I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.